Hey there, this is Saril Pushpam, and this video I'm going to focus on this navigation component. Actually, in my last video, you may seen only this logo component was available, the logo image and then this text image. But this video, I'm going to cover how we can build this whole navigation component. Actually, in the last video, I just built this freelance logo component and then I just added only the logo and then image, and then I thought to create another component, that is freelance navigation, for build this remaining section. But unfortunately this logo and then this navigation are tightly connected in the HTML section, and I tried to split as a two component, but I'm facing some issue. So I just like to go with the same component, freelance logo. So I just use the same file and I added my static HTML here, and on this video we can explore how we can convert these static values as a dynamic value, and how we can get the values from Sitecore and bind it here. Yep. Before getting into that, I just like to let you guys know about what is Sitecore layout service and then what is Sitecore content resolver. Sitecore layout service I would show you in the Sitecore side. Go to your Sitecore domain name and then you can add this whole values. Actually, the last video also I explained about this. This one is your item ID. Actually, I'm just trying to see the value of my home page, so I just added the slash. If you are checking for other pages, you can copy your item ID and then paste it here. Let's try with the ID now. Yep. And then here you can add your language, and then the SC API key is very important. You can take it from your layout settings. And then this site name. This site name is optional, but it's always better to add it in the end of the URL. And this is the layout service. Actually, this layout service is responsible for delivering the structured layout data to our front end application, and it's a whole JSON format. We can deliver this content to our front end developers, and they can read all the values and they can bind it in the HTML section. I would say in this Next.js section, how we did for the logo component, and it's the first thing we should know. And then the next thing is content resolver, that I will show in the layout section. Actually, if you worked on the traditional rendering system in the side core, what we do is there are two types of rendering, right? The view rendering and then controller rendering. In the view rendering, we can directly render the HTML, and if you want to do any minor logic, we can directly add it in the CSHTML file. And another thing is controller rendering. For controller rendering, definitely we have to create the controller, we have to create the CS file, and we have to write some business logic. Actually, if it's required. And yeah, how it will work is, you can go to your page, and then on your page you will add that component. In case my case is, I have two components, right? The logo and the navigation component. So how it will work is, first my user land on this home page, and then my Sitecore system go here, and then it will read all the component, and first it will go to this freelance component. First it will check whether it's the view rendering or controller rendering. If it's a view rendering, then it will render the view file. It's a controller rendering, first it will logic the first it will run the logic, and then it will render the our HTML. So the same way here we are using the different layout. What's the different? Sorry, same way here we are using the different rendering. What rendering I am using it? In the freelance logo, here you can go, you can find it's the JSON rendering. That means whenever we use the JSON rendering, it will return the JSON response in the layout service. So whenever you work on this headless architecture, you will always use this JSON rendering. And then the next question is, okay, Arul, in the view rendering, we can see the HTML file. In the controller rendering, we can create the controller and then we can add our own logic. Then how this JSON rendering is working? The JSON rendering is working with this content resolver. If you scroll down, here you can find rendering content resolver. So if you leave this as a blank, then it will take it. Um, I I think it will take this. content item resolver as a default one, but let me explore about it and then add it in the next video. Let me leave it as blank, and then let's go to the freelance logo component here, and let's refresh. The next question is how I can find this component in the layout service. Just copy your layout name, your rendering name, copy, and then go here, and then freelance logo. Here is my component name, freelance logo. Here I can find all the fields. Looks like it's reading all the fields value from my data source section. So we would not say the default resolver is the context item resolver. Let's play with that. um, I don't like to confuse. Let's go to this context item resolver. Basically, context item is the current item of Sitecore, right? So if you are hitting this homepage item as the context item. So I just set up this content resolver as contact item resolver now, and then I will show you how the results are rendering in the layout service. Let's save it, and then see the home page already has this freelance logo component. Let's close this and then refresh. Do we need to publish? I think yes. Okay, it's updated. Enter. Okay, so on this freelance logo component, I can see these fields: title field, freelancing demo website, where it is coming from. Okay, it is coming from here. That means we are using context item resolver. So it's reading the values from the context item. And can I find any other fields? Okay, content field is there, navigation class is there. Do we have any navigation class? I think it made the navigation class. Yep, navigation title and the navigation class. Let's save it and refresh. Okay, see, it's the navigation class. Actually, it is reading all the values from the item. Here I have given only the highlighted top, but it gave all the values of that detail section. Okay, looks good. Yeah, this is the way we can read all the context item field values. And the next thing is, let's check what will happen when we use the context item children resolver. Let's save it and refresh. I think it may give the child of context item, but let's confirm. Um, Component name here. See, context item children resolver. I have four children. One, two, three. Okay, I have only three children. I can see those three children here, and this folder is the data source one. We can ignore that. And one more thing. See, I have a nested item, but it is not returning that. Okay, that's the thing we have to keep in our mind. It's directly reading our direct children. And the next thing is data source item children resolver. Um, okay, there is no data source children. Let's try the data source resolver, because in the freelance logo has the data source, right? Let's find it. Okay. When we use the data source resolver, so it is reading the data source field values. I think when we add the component, when we keep it as blank, it's actually reading our data source, and it is using the data source resolver for resolving the field values. Okay, that's good. And then folder filter resolver, Sitecore forms resolver, we can explore it later. Now it's enough for our learning. Let's keep it done and then check our page. Okay, now I'm going to focus on this navigation component. And here I have one more request. I can give the direct child. Anyways, we have one context item children resolver that we can use. We can read the field, we can read the URL from there. But my requirement is I have to read all the nested items. See, it's the home item and then about work and then category I can read, but I can't read the about to and then work to. Then how I can achieve this functionality? My requirement like I have to show all the menu. The menus are home, about, work, category, and then about to and then work to. Then how I can do this? Because there is no resolver available for that. And how we can do that? So why we can write our own custom resolver to achieve this logic. And I will show you how to do that and what are the steps we have to follow for achieving that. So I'm going to create the Visual Studio code for Visual Studio solution for that. Let me create. I'm creating a new solution for that. Let me give the name freelance. Let's keep it as freelance.